Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for June for the Sun or the Ascendant. As ever, I'm going to give you the big takeouts to look forward to this month, but then please stay with me. I will go into much greater detail to give you all the ins and outgoings that are going to impact on your sign directly. Now, of course, your ruling planet is Saturn. Saturn gives you that work ethic, that discipline, the love of structure, and often an executive talent, whether it's managing your home or taking on a position of responsibility. You have a gift for grinding away towards the targets that are important to you. But your ruler Saturn goes retrograde on the 4th of this month, and that's a significant development. It's in your sector of everyday finance. If money has been getting a little bit pinched due to the cost of living crisis, then this is something I need to explore with you in much greater detail. But also, this is a month where there's still a lot of activity in your 5th house, very much to do with creativity, and Mercury is in retrograde as the month begins. So I need to explore with you the journey that Mercury will undergo this month, but also the impact that Venus, Uranus and the North Node can all have in this glorious area. Of course, we have a full moon which occurs on the 14th, and this is in a very sensitive part of your scope, your 12th house, very much to do with the psychological threads of life. So I will be going into detail about that because it forges a complex link to Neptune, the planet which can distort reality. However, we do have the summer solstice, which occurs on the 21st, and that can be significant for your relationship affairs. So lots of exciting news to share with you. If you would like to ascend above this Zodiac broadcast and gain much greater understanding of natal astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal information of time, date and place of birth, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life. And within my special package, you can also get a 12-month forecast for the next year and get 30% off. Please see the link beneath this video. Now, I'm inching towards that 100,000 subscriber target that's been a little bit elusive due to all my health issues over the last 10 years. If you've yet to subscribe, I'd be honoured if you would click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Please stay with me next for your in-depth forecast. So Capricorn, your June monthly forecast sees the Sun begin this month in your sector of organisation, of the details of situations. Your desire to make things run that much more efficiently can be boosted by a glorious new moon which occurred in this area right at the end of May. But that pours its energy right through the spine of this month. So you may find yourself wanting to be pretty proactive about perhaps getting a little bit fitter, being a bit more conscious of what you eat and drink, the nutrients in your diet, maybe also just ensuring that any snags or any distractions which stop you from really focusing on the main parts, the main strands of your situation, those are ironed out. But from a creative or even social viewpoint, there may have been some recent niggles, and that's because Mercury has been in retrograde. But on the 3rd of this month, it goes forwards, and on the 4th comes out of shadow and in a very playful area. So if there have been some sort of trials and tribulations about getting together with people or last minute cancellations, it wouldn't be a surprise, but things can start to get sorted. Now, Venus, the planet of love and affection, loves being in your 5th house because it's in one of its 2 home zones of Taurus. And this is giving you an opportunity to really share your desires. You know, if there is a passion you have, whether it's artistic, creative, an interest, or even someone who's capturing your imagination, Venus can help you to showcase this. But of course, Uranus creates a lot of electric energy in this area too, so things can be quite changeable. The North Node can also bring you rewards. In terms of hard work you've invested around a group of friendships, your popularity could be heightened by the North Node being in the 5th house, or perhaps there's the need to think again around your social grouping. Now Mars, the planet that's exalted in your sign, begins this month in your 4th house of home, family and emotion, very close to Jupiter, the planet of growth. If there are some physical changes you want to make to where you live, your determination to achieve these is really given a major boost this month. And I think the Sun being in the 6th house is ideal for this, because it can give you the ability to micromanage things in a very precise way. Although Saturn does go retrograde on the 4th, from the 13th through to the 19th, the Sun forges a very stable link with Saturn. And if you do need to really sign off a budget or manage a process, you can do so with precision, but also extract the very best value for yourself. The only thing I would say to you with Mars and Jupiter in the 4th house is, if you are thinking of making some changes to where you live, don't blast into the situation without a lot of detailed planning. That may be counterintuitive to you, but if you're tempted to be more impulsive, it may be something that could be counterproductive. Mars and Jupiter together can give you a lot of desire and a lot of thrust, and that can help you to get things done, but don't rush the details. Now, with Saturn going retrograde on the 4th, we all know that the cost of living has really been something that's been a big concern. So whether it's energy costs, whether it's the cost of putting fuel in the car, whether it is the cost of foodstuffs, all of these things, along with interest rates, are all becoming more of a concern. So your ability to really be very businesslike about how you manage your domestic budget can actually be a real asset to you from now through to the 23rd of October. But if you are starting on a process of making home changes, or you're wanting to be a bit more risk-taking with your resources around a project that maybe is a bit more experimental or a bit more speculative, just bear in mind what you can really afford, because Saturn is going to keep things a bit tight, I think, in terms of income. Now, Venus is in a very productive semi-sextile to the position of Mars through the first 12 days of this month. If there is someone that you're attracted to romantically, it could be somebody that comes through an introduction through your family or a close friend, or perhaps you have an opportunity to take the lead a little bit more around a romantic tie you're already in. A partner may actually really appreciate this. The 14th sees that full moon, that complex full moon, but the 13th doesn't just see the Sun start to forge that very helpful link to Saturn. It's when Mercury returns to the sign of Gemini. So for you, that's the detail thing again. So that's good. It helps you to convert your creativity into really looking at the pieces of whatever you need to supervise and scrutinize, and you can do so with aplomb. Or is Neptune going to be a problematic influence on the back of that full moon? Neptune can be like a swirling mist. It's brilliant for expressing our ideas through music or poetry or writing things, waxing lyrical into the small hours. But when it's in a T-square, as it is, with a full moon which goes across the 6th and the 12th houses, it's going to be very important that you get the balance between the practical part of your existence and the more spiritual and emotional ones. Now, Neptune is going to heighten your sensitivities. If there's any area in your life which feels a bit shaky, or you're not quite sure on whether you can really trust people, it could be revealed over the following 2 weeks. The great news is the summer solstice on the 21st is in your opposite cardinal sign of Cancer, and we start the 2nd cardinal quadrant of the year. And for you, the next 13 weeks can be a time when you can really work hard on relationship matters. So even though Neptune can make things seem a little opaque or confusing, as long as you keep working at it in that inimitable way of yours, I feel that progress can still be achieved. Now on the 23rd, the planet of relating moves into the practical 6th house. At work, one of the great things you can do is charm people. So your ability to listen, tune into what people want, be a bit more flexible about their needs can serve you very well. Neptune does, however, go retrograde on the 28th. Of course, Pluto's retrograde in your sign already this month, and Saturn starts on the 4th. So 3 big higher octave planets that are really saying that it's important to understand these more structural influences. They can be slower, they can be more imperceptible, they're not necessarily so obvious, but still potent. So through to the 4th of December, if you are thinking about new ideas or bringing a new way of thinking or expressing yourself into your world, you need to think very deeply about these things. The 29th sees a new moon in your sector of related. This can be a big boost because it forges a square with Jupiter. Now, Sun square Jupiter can bring out the most generous side of your nature. So if there's anyone you're wanting to be very protective about, then you can be a source of great encouragement. But equally, Jupiter can see us over-egg the proverbial pudding. So it's important that if you're trying to persuade someone of something close to you, that you keep it as grounded as possible. You know, you may ultimately get your way, but if events mean that later down the track, the vision that you're enthusing them about doesn't quite play out as you hope, then that's something that you could feel the pinch on. So being realistic is important while still embracing the enthusiasm that the Sun square with Jupiter can give you. Now, there is a beautiful link between Venus and Jupiter as this month draws to a close, which can be quite lucky for you. And perhaps the luck is going to be linked to a job, perhaps even a job based from the comfort of your home. But Jupiter may give us some uplift at the end of this month. Mars and Pluto, the 2 rulers of Scorpio, are actually in conflict the last 3 days. It's possible, therefore, that this is a bit more serious than Jupiter's square with the Sun, because Mars is about instant gratification. The 4th house, I think, does point towards you wanting to create a home base that you feel is really in keeping with the image that's important to you. Pluto's in your sign is much more to do with power. You could push something extremely hard with this aspect, or someone could try to push something on you. So just be aware that there could be some tensions or politics around a close relationship as the month draws to a close. But the new moon is saying if you can meet someone halfway, and at times even agree to disagree, that can be a smart thing to do, because a direct confrontation is not necessarily in the best interest of anyone. So I think the new moon really asks you to embrace diplomacy, particularly as Venus is in a semi-sextile with it. But Mars and Pluto, if you're feeling very passionate about something, could see you really sticking to your point of view.